So before I say anything, we're going to play a game. And the game is Simon Says, because we have some young friends with us, and this is a good time to get Wiggles out. And so if everyone, Simon Says, stand up. That's the rule. The rule for this game is you don't do it unless Simon says. And then we're going to have an honor system. If you do something that Simon didn't say, you sit down. Okay? And you'll do that because we have a covenant. All right. Simon says, put one hand on your head. Simon says, put the other hand on your stomach. Put one hand on your shoulder. Put the other hand on your back. Oh, if you did that, you have to sit down. Simon says, wiggle both ears. Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, one hand on your head and the other one on the back of your head. Oh, if you did the back of your head, you have to sit down. So, I'm very good at this game. All right, so now we're going to pause, and everyone can stand up again. Simon says, and you may put your hands down. And now we're going to play without the rules. We're going to play without the rules. So I'm going to still say Simon Says, but you can choose how you are or are not going to follow that direction. All right, Simon says, jump. Simon says, put your hands on your head. Simon says, both hands on your elbows. One hand on your stomach, one hand on your head. Oh, there's crazy things going on. All right, and now Simon says you may all sit. But if you don't want to sit, you can stand. All right, so the reason we did that was because when we play games as children, and even play games as adults, because, Settlers of Catan have a lot of rules, it's important to have those agreements between each other so that we can play and have fun. I can't tell you how many times I've had this discussion on a daily basis, being a principal of an elementary school, especially with the football crowd. The whole point is to have fun, not to kill each other. But it's frustrating, and it's frustrating to kids and adults when people don't follow the rules that are agreed upon. And so that's why when we come into community, it's important for us to be very clear with each other what our expectations are for how we want to be treated and how we want to treat each other. This is true at church and at school. And like the story for all ages was about, at school we have rules. And at our school we have what is called a social contract. And it's more than just don't hit, walk in a line. It's, first of all, the teachers write a social contract, and they talk about how they want to be treated with respect, how they want to be listened to, how they want to be treated as professionals. And so we as a group of adults come up with our social contract, which is really a covenant about how we're going to treat each other. And then they go to their classrooms, and they don't just tell the kids what the rules are, but they sit down together with them and they talk about how the kids want to be treated, how the teacher wants to be treated, and they write their own social contract, and they hold each other accountable for that throughout the year. And if someone makes a mistake about, because we all do, we all make mistakes, we all say things that we shouldn't say, then the students learn strategies for helping kindly remind each other about the social contract. And if they need more help solving the problem, the children can go to one of their grown-ups for support and some help with the situation. I love that we here at High Plains are working on a covenant of right relations. Our covenant is like that social contract, but instead of helping us have that great atmosphere for learning school subjects, A covenant of right relations helps us have a good atmosphere for learning and developing our spiritual selves. This covenant is a promise, not just by one person, but by everyone in the group, to have the behaviors that help us be respectful in how we treat each other. And what happens at church when somebody makes a mistake and doesn't follow our covenant? Well, like I said, how many of you have never made a mistake? I should. Everyone except our friend in the back. But we all make mistakes. And so the best way to solve it is just go to the person and have that conversation. Misunderstandings and problems can usually be solved that way. But sometimes something will occur, and just like the kids might need a little support in solving the situation, our members of our congregation can go to the team on shared ministry, and they can provide some guidance in how to solve the problem together. By developing a covenant of right relations, we are expressing our hope for the future, for the promise of our church as we grow and learn. Dennis McCarty says, human beings are at our best when we make solemn promises to one another and try hard to keep them. We are the only animal that makes promises. We are a promise-making, promise-keeping, promise-breaking, promise-renewing creature. Our very humanity lies in the way we carry out our promises to our families, our co-workers, our neighbors, and our fellow members of the human family. To be genuine, a covenant must be a covenant of being. It's not just about good words, but about actions. And so now I want you to think about how many of you have ever done a pinky promise? Pinky promise is when you, I need a helper. So pinky promise is like this, when you join pinkies and you make a promise to each other. It's not just a one-person promise. So would you join pinkies with other people? A pinky promise isn't just a promise. It's really a covenant between you and another person. And developing our covenant of right relations is a big pinky promise that we all make to each other. A promise of hope for our future. Thank you. I just wanted to point out our words over here. These are words that came from the survey that we took, and I tried to put them in the number of times that they appeared. And so the bigger words mean that they had a lot of responses, and the smaller words means they were mentioned, and everything in between. And so these were some of the things that were very important to members of our congregation about what should be in our covenant of right relations. And now our closing hymn.